Welcome back to DeFi Exploits Explained. Today, the one that started it all, Reentrancy, the bug behind the DAO, the $60 million hack that split Ethereum in two in 3 clear acts. First, the honest flow, a normal deposit and withdrawal, then the attack, where a single withdrawal is tricked into calling itself over and over to drain the vault. And then the fix. And every act, we prove 3 ways. On a diagram, in a test where you watch every balance change, and then live on a public blockchain following the money on Etherscan. Let's go. First, the setup. A vault lets you deposit ETH. It records how much you put in and lets you withdraw it later. Simple. But here's the subtle fatal detail in the withdraw function. To pay you, it sends your ETH with a low-level call, and only after that does it set your recorded balance to 0. Now, sending ETH to a smart contract runs that contract's code, its receive function, right in the middle of the withdrawal, while your balance still reads full. So a malicious contract can, from SOPM inside that callback, call withdraw again and again. Each time the vault checks your balance still not zeroed and pays you again. That's reentrancy. Re-entering a function before it finished, and it drains the whole vault. Let's see honest first. We build it in Foundry. Here's the skeleton of the vault. It tracks each address's balance, lets you deposit and lets you withdraw. The one that matters is withdraw, so let's fill it in. Here is the withdraw function, and here is the whole bug. In the order of 2 lines, it reads your balance, sends you that much ETH with a call, and then on the next line sets your balance to 0. The order is fatal. That call in the middle hands control to your contract before the 0 ever runs. So if your contract calls withdraw again, right then your balance is still full, and the vault pays you a second time, a third, until it's empty. First, let's use this vault honestly, and it behaves perfectly. Act 1, the honest flow. On the diagram, an ordinary user deposits some ETH and the vault records their balance. Later they call withdraw. The vault sends their ETH back and zeroes their balance. Their own wallet just receives the money. It doesn't do anything clever in the callback, so the withdrawal runs once and finishes cleanly. Deposit, withdraw. Done. That's how it's supposed to work. Now let's prove it. Here's the honest test. Alice deposits 3 units and we check the vault holds them. Then she withdraws and we check her money came back and the vault is empty. Watch the numbers. Run it. Alice deposits 3 units and the vault holds 3. She withdraws. Her balance comes back to 3 and the vault is now 0. 1 deposit, 1 withdrawal, clean. That's the honest flow. Now let's watch it on a real blockchain. We deployed this vault to Sepolia, a public testnet, through my chainstack node. Here's an honest withdrawal, and because this is ETH moving inside a contract call, we follow it on Etherscan's internal transactions tab. There's exactly one. The vault sends the user back the ETH they deposited. 1 withdrawal, 1 transfer. That's honest. Now watch a contract turn that 1 withdrawal into 6. Act 2, the attack on the diagram, and it all happens inside 1 transaction. The attacker is a contract. It deposits 1 small unit just to have a balance, then calls withdraw. The vault sends it that 1 unit, which triggers the attacker's receive function, and instead of just accepting the money, it immediately calls withdraw again. Now the vault looks at the attacker's balance, which was never zeroed, sees it's still full, and pays again. That call backfires again, calls withdraw again, and the loop repeats, draining a unit each time until the vault is empty. The honest depositor's funds walk straight out through a single re-entering withdrawal. Let's prove it. Here's the attack test. Honest users Alice and Bob deposit 5 units into the vault. The attacker contract starts with nothing in it. It deposits 1 unit, then attacks. We print what it walks away with. Run it. The honest deposits in the vault are 5 units. The attacker puts in just 1. It calls attack and the reentrancy loop fires. After the attacker contract holds 6 units, its own 1 plus the honest 5, and the vault is left with 0. 1 deposit, a single withdrawal that re-entered itself, and the whole vault is gone. Now on chain. Same story on Sepolia. First, in the terminal, I read the balances before the attack. The vault holds 0.05 of an ETH of honest deposits, and the attacker contract holds nothing. Now the attack. Here's the attack. One single public transaction, and this is the important one. So let's follow the money on the internal transactions tab. First, one transfer in. The attacker deposits its 0.01. Then look what happens. The vault sends 0.01 back to the attacker 6 times in a row. And see the trace addresses on the left. Each one is nested one level deeper than the last. That nesting is the reentrancy, each withdrawal calling into the next before the previous one finished. 6 withdrawals from a single 0.01 deposit, 0.01 in, 0.06 out. The whole vault drained through one reentering call. And back in the terminal, we read the damage of the chain. The vault is at 0, completely drained. The attacker contract holds 0.06, its own 0.01, plus the honest 0.05 it stole. It matches the test exactly, and you can open that transaction on Etherscan and count the 6 internal transfers yourself. Now let's fix it. Act 3, the fix on the diagram, and it's one of the most important patterns in all of smart contracts: checks, effects, interactions. The rule is simple. Do all your bookkeeping before you talk to the outside world. So in withdraw, we zero the balance first, and only then send the ETHs. Now when the attacker's callback re-enters and calls withdraw again, the vault checks its balance and it's already 0, so there's nothing to send, and the loop dies on its first re-entry. We also add a simple lock that refuses any re-entrant call outright, belt and suspenders. Replay the exact same attack. The attacker gets only its own 1 unit back and the honest 5 stay put. Let's build it and prove it. Here is the fixing code. 2 changes. First, checks effects interactions. We set the balance to 0 before we send the ETH, so a re-entrant call finds nothing left to withdraw. Second, a non-re-entrant lock, a simple flag that rejects any call that tries to re-enter while withdraw is still running. Either one alone stops this attack. Together they're airtight. The external call is now the very last thing that happens. After all, the state is already settled. Settle your books before you open the door. Here's the fixed test. The same honest 5 units, the exact same attacker running the exact same move, and the only thing that changed is the vault underneath. Now it does effects before interactions and holds a lock. We print what the attacker gets. Run it! The honest deposits are 5, the attacker puts in 1 and runs the identical attack. But now it's re-entering withdrawal, hits a 0 balance and a lock, so it gets nothing extra. The attacker contract ends with exactly its own 1 unit back, and the vault still holds all 5 honest units untouched. Same attacker, same move, and the reentrancy is dead. Now let's confirm on-chain. On Sepolia, we deployed the fixed vault, and the attacker sends the very same attack. Follow the internal transactions again, the attacker deposits its 0.01, and then there's exactly 1 transfer back, its own 0.01. No cascade, no nesting, no 6 withdrawals. The re-entry hit a zeroed balance and did nothing. The identical attack that drained the broken vault takes nothing here. Back in the terminal, the result read straight off the chain. The attacker contract holds just its own 0.01, and the vault still holds the full 0.05 of honest deposits completely untouched. The identical attack that emptied the broken vault comes away with nothing here. On a real public chain you can verify. 3 acts, 3 ways each: diagram, test, and live on chain. Quick recap. The vault sent ETH before it zeroed your balance, and sending ETH to a contract runs that contract's code mid-withdrawal. So a malicious contract re-enters withdraw before the balance is zeroed, and the vault pays over and over until it's empty. This is the exact bug that drained the DAO of $60 million in 2016 and forced the Ethereum fork. The fix is a rule to live by. Checks, effects, interactions. Do all your state changes before any external call, and add the reentrancy lock. Settle your own books before you ever hand control to someone else. A quick note, though, rebuilding these hacks safely and explaining them line by line takes real work. If it helps you, the wallets are on screen and there's a Ko-fi link below. Every tip funds the next breakdown. Thank you. And that's Reentrancy, the original DeFi exploit told in full what an honest withdrawal looks like, how a single re-entering call drains a whole vault, and the one ordering rule that stops it, each act shown on a diagram, in a test, and live on a public chain. Next episode, another DeFi exploit, rebuilt from scratch and then fixed. Subscribe so you don't miss it, tell me in the comments which exploit to break down next, and I'll see you there.